Well, thank you for joining this Immigration into America presentation prepared for Guy's people. And let me start by introducing myself. My name is Mark Gilbert. I'm a Director of Immigration into America, and I'm going to be speaking to you for the next 10 or 15 minutes on the subject of US immigration, or at least selected highlights of visa types that are really most relevant to us and, of course, to you. Now, I'm sure that during the presentation you will have questions for us, so please do feel free to email them. You'll see on the screen during the presentation that you have the opportunity to ask us questions. And what we will do is to collate them, and then we'll publish questions and answers during the next sort of 12 to 24 hours. Today's agenda starts with the client. The client is central to everything that we are collectively trying to achieve, and their personal motivation is particularly important. I'm going to talk about immigration to America, tell you a little bit about our business, and then I'll spend more time talking about the EB-5 investor visa. I'm going to go on after that and just touch briefly on some of the other visa types that are available, on the basis that I think that you're going to meet non-US nationals thinking about setting up a business, and these are typically the types of visa that they're going to be looking at. And then lastly, I'll look at the referral fees that we pay to you for introductions. I said it starts with the client. I find that for clients, the real driver to moving to the US is the lifestyle. If people are motivated by the lifestyle in the US, they're very keen to move. And lifestyle can mean different things to different people, but it is a lifestyle that's a key driver. Permanent residency, or at least understanding their status, having certainty about their status in the US, is especially important. And these are individuals that we're talking to who have the funds to invest in the United States. They're prepared to invest their time. They're prepared to to take some of their wealth and invest it. It's absolutely critical that we bear that in mind, and that we consider their needs in all of this, and they are that the investment that they make is into a project that's well run, that's well funded, and has a track record. So who are we? We're a business that's been incorporated now for a little over 10 years. In fact, we just celebrated our 10th birthday. We offer a range of services in the company corporation market, but what we're talking about now are the businesses that I'm running, and they are focused on providing immigration services both in the US and in Europe. And we pride ourselves on working with best-in-class providers. And what that means for US immigration is that we've chosen to work with Arnstein and Lear, a truly excellent firm of US attorneys with great specialism in immigration. They're based in Miami, and they really do deliver for us consistently well. So all of our immigration services are provided by Arnstein and Lear. I've already talked about what's important to the client. The EB-5 regional center that the client invests in is very important, and we strive at all times to make sure that we're only working with the best and the brightest of the EB-5 regional centers. I just wanted to mention to you that over the next few weeks, our website will have an addition, and that addition will be a search tool that will allow visitors to come to our site and to look for property in the US. And we believe that that's going to be an excellent tool to create more demand for your services, and ultimately for ours as well. The EB-5 program has been around for about 20 years, and it's currently administered by USCIS, the United States Citizen and Immigration Service. The program has very clear goals. On the one hand, very clearly the program is about immigration and facilitating immigration to the United States. But on the other, it's about the creation of jobs through investment. And that investment is set standard at $1 million. But if the investment is being made in what is known as a targeted employment area, then that investment amount is reduced to $500,000. What's important for the investor is that they receive a conditional residency permit, a conditional green card valid for 2 years. And that's, of course, based upon the making an investment of $1 million or $500,000, depending on the specific project. And in our experience, they're typically making that investment into what is called a regional center, an enterprise, public or private, that is authorized by US immigration to fund a project or part fund a project by raising money from potential immigrant investors. What's also important for the investor is that 2 years after they receive their conditional green card, they are in a position to turn that into a permanent green card. And of course, there are specifics that will be checked at that point in time. And one of the particularly important ones is that they've created, or their investment at least has created, 10 brand new roles, jobs for US workers. So the process itself is outlined in this chart. Of course, before getting to this particular point, the investor would have worked with us and they would have looked at one regional center, have evaluated that center and reached a point where they're comfortable to proceed. And they make their investment of $500,000 US. Generally, that's been placed into an escrow account so that the money is there ready for the actual investment during this actual process. But they still, irrespective of whether that's in escrow or directly invested into the regional center, that financial commitment has to be made. An attorney will be appointed, or perhaps the client already has a preferred attorney, but an attorney will work with the client to prepare their application. There's a lot of documentation that has to be brought together for this application. One really key element of the application is to demonstrate that the funds, the $500,000, were lawfully obtained. Okay, so that source of funds, has to be provided. And in our experience with applicants coming from Western Europe, particularly from the UK, that really doesn't present a problem. We have a very mature banking system here. We have a mature taxation system. So it's very easy to provide all the information that's required. The processing time can be 6 to 9 months typically. And what the investor initially receives is a green card that's valid for a period of 2 years. And during that time, they can live and work if they so desire, or they can just live and retire in the US. 21 months after that conditional green card has been issued, there's a window of opportunity, and there's a 3-month window during which the client can apply for a permanent green card. Now, when they do that, once again, various checks are going to be made. What's most important is that they demonstrate that, firstly, they did make the investment of funds, and secondly, that the 10 jobs, 10 full-time jobs have been created, and they'll need to provide evidence to substantiate that. And then 5 years after the initial green card has been issued, there's an opportunity to apply for US citizenship. And of course, not everybody chooses to become a US citizen. Many people are happy with permanent residency, but that opportunity is there. And this visa category is still the only category that allows somebody to go from being a non-US national directly to a green card, and to rapidly become a US national. There are a great many benefits associated with the EB-5 visa. Clearly, permanent residency for the applicant, for their spouse, and for any of their children that are unmarried and under 21 years of age when they apply. A direct route to full US citizenship is a clear benefit of this visa. But over and above that, the investor and their family can continue to manage business interests outside of the US, or for that matter, they can seek employment. They have the freedom to live anywhere in the US. So the investment can be made in one state and they can choose to live somewhere else without any problem at all. There are no requirements to speak English, and in fact, there are no requirements to provide educational qualifications or business qualifications. And another benefit for many of our applicants is that they can educate their children and pay the same college rates as US nationals. And that can make a material difference. I thought it'd be interesting to provide you with some information about regional centers. Today there are over 200 regional centers in the US, and that number has grown dramatically in the past 4 or 5 years. The vast majority of applications under this program are by alien investors, by investors who wish to go down the regional center route. So they don't want to be actively involved in making an investment and running a business themselves. They prefer to invest in an existing regional center. Now, this program, by anybody's standards, has been a great success. It's generated, more than 65,000 jobs in the US, and it's brought, over $3 billion of investment into the country. And that's just what's been measured directly in the program. But if you look beyond that and consider that, a family moving to the US is going to buy a residential property, they're going to buy cars, they're going to spend a considerable amount of money in the US economy, and therefore the benefit is actually far greater. I said that I would also touch upon some of the other non-immigrant visa categories. If you're having a conversation with a non-US national thinking about moving to the US and they're talking about opening a business, the chances are that they'll be applying for an L1 or perhaps an E2 visa. And there's some slight differences that determine which visa an individual should apply for. And I don't intend to get into that level of detail now. What I want you to know is that there are other alternatives out there that still lead to somebody moving to the US and needing a roof over their head. So it's still an opportunity. But what I suggest is that if you're talking to somebody who's setting up a business, you come and talk to us, and we'll talk about their particular circumstances, and we can quickly determine which is the best route for them in terms of the visa. So I said that I would talk about referral fees. With the EB5 visa, we will pay $5,000 as a fee when an applicant proceeds with their EB5 application. Now, with the other visa types that I've mentioned, we will pay a small fee, and to a degree that will depend upon the number of services that client purchases, because we're happy to pay a referral fee, not particularly for the visa, because we can't pay a referral fee specifically for that service, but we recognize that any introduction that you make has the potential for us to move into other areas, and we will pay a referral fee because of that opportunity. But what we would do is sit down and talk to you and look at the services that client is taking, and then make sure that we arrive at a fair referral fee. As I said at the beginning of the presentation, my name is Mark Gilbert. I'm a Director of Immigration into America. Our website is www.immigrationintoamerica.com. You can email me at the address on the screen. Our telephone numbers are on our website, so if you would like to call me, please do. But you can always email me, and I'm very happy to give you